SHOT Show 2017 at the ALS, that's Amtec Less-lethal Systems booth, which is part of a national defense company with Tyler. This is a still from a loop video related to this little guy. Talk about some real interesting application of a drone technology.
So this is our...
Okay, so we're talking to Tyler here. How you doing, brother?
Doing well, yourself?
Good, good, man.
Good.
It was nice to meet you.
Likewise.
You give me a little bit of background about the company. ALS, Amtec Less-lethal, is the law enforcement and corrections division of a national defense company.
That's correct.
Okay, very good. Now, we just highlighted, because this little guy really caught my attention.
You bet.
Immediately, before I'd even seen the video, because we know we can't deploy, we can't drop anything from aerial vehicles. So I could just envision using this technology and using the natural rotor
the downwash,
downwash to help with deploying an aerosol. And watching the video in action was just amazing. Now, I understand your background with the company is what?
That's correct. I've been with the company for 12 years. Started out up in the defense division at Amtec. Recently transferred down to the less-lethal division down here in Perry, Florida.
Okay, and you've got a lot of stuff on the table here.
We do.
So why don't you tell, are you involved with the development of this guy?
Absolutely.
Okay, tell me about it.
This is our aerial deployment platform. It gives us the option to deploy a cover or an irritant if necessary in a way that we haven't been able to do before. It gives us the control to place that behind that front area where in the past we might not be able to get to. It allows us much better control. It also gives smaller departments the ability to have an aerial overview of the situation before trying to deploy any munition.
And that's because we have a camera on a ball turret on the bottom.
4K gyro stabilized camera. And we are working with the manufacturer to help with some updated software, some updated controls.
And that's for the vehicle?
Correct, to make that easier to use, simplify it, so guys can go out, bring it up, and put it to use without a lot of training.
You know, this little guy is, and I'm calling him a little guy, it's almost like he's alive. He's, I'm sorry, man, it's been a long week.
Absolutely.
This is a prototype at this point.
This is a prototype that we have done field trials on. So again, we are working with the manufacturer right now. We're working with our own internal team to figure out really how it's best suited to be used and figure out how then to move forward with training and then deployment out into the field.
Right, right. What's the, and you may not have a number here, but what do you think the rough general cost, price issue would be on this, the cost evaluation?
I didn't even make
any sense. What do you think the price for this would be for a department?
I wish I could give you a good number.
Yeah.
I will tell you that one of the main goals from this project from the onset has been to create a product that every department can afford.
Okay.
We don't want this to be a $15,000, $20,000 item that only a couple of the largest departments can afford.
Right.
Because then, you know, that's great, but we really want to be able to put this into everybody's hands.
Right.
So that is one of our main focuses.
At this point, it looks like, how many canisters will this vehicle?
This one's currently set up to run with 2 canisters, each individually triggered, 2 separate channels, so that it gives us the option to run both a smoke and then, if necessary, an irritant.
So you could use the smoke as a marker downrange or over target to get an idea of where your chemical agent would be flowing, for lack of a better word.
We also, in theory, have walked through using a standard white smoke, looks very similar to our irritant, as a warning.
Right, as
a look, something's going to happen here. Please change your mind about what you're doing before we have to deploy other methods.
And in that regard, you're talking about not necessarily a standoff. Well, I guess it could be a standoff situation, but we're also talking about large groups of people, what have you. I can't imagine a lot of folks watching this coming at them with a visual of the smoke deploying and wanting to remain.
Yep.
Now, we were talking earlier, there's been some commentary about possible the target area using something like a slingshot to try and bring it down. But quite frankly, in an aggressive approach with purple mist emitting, and especially if you're able to position it, you could use your marker. Now, the question I have, and it just came to mind, once you start your smoke, is it all deployed, or do you have control? Do you have the ability to deploy a little bit?
No.
Okay, you realize you're not downrange or upwind of your target, so then you can move and then deploy a little more smoke, or once you begin deployment, it's out.
So this is a continuous discharge smoke.
So there's no control. And they look like regular canisters.
They are.
So there's nothing special about the canister.
There is, the ignition system is custom special.
Okay.
But they are a continuous discharge smoke. So once we start, you're going to empty the entire contents. What this does give us that a standard hand deployed or launched smoke does not is the ability to reposition after initial deployment.
Right.
So with our standard hand thrown 37 millimeter launch smokes, you know where you want it to go. You put the munition out, all of a sudden the wind direction changes.
And it's still deploying.
It's still deploying.
In that one spot.
Now you have to deploy another.
Yeah, unless somebody picks it up and throws it or something.
With this system, we eliminate the possibility of somebody picking it up, returning it, and also allows us to reposition when
and you could also move with your target zone as it moves, if it moves. Yeah, okay, very good. Anything else about this vehicle?
This system is really user-friendly.
Okay.
That's why we've gone this way.
Now I know that you're still in research on this, or development, you should say. Do you have a rough window of time that you think that you might be able to work out the current bugs?
We really have been working closely with the manufacturer here lately, and we're trying to fast track that.
Okay.
With everything that's going on, the faster we get it to market,
right,
the better served it's going to be.
Yeah.
So we are really putting a lot of effort behind this.
Do you think we might be looking at a 6-month window, maybe more like a 1-year window, or just again nothing to hold you to, but a ballpark?
We're hoping to be less than 10 months.
Less than 10 months. So within the year, hopefully.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Nice round figure there, brother. Nice even number, right?
Yep.
Instead of the 12.
Yep.
Well, 12 is still even, so what am I saying? 10 is more of a round. Now, there's something else. In relation to aerial vehicles, you also have another interesting...
So we have an option for an anti-drone, anti-surveillance round. It's our Skynet platform. This version that you see here is our 12-gauge launched platform.
So, and you say Skynet, but it does not have its own artificial intelligence.
No, this one does not.
This is just all lead, right?
Yep. We still rely on the operator for this.
Okay, good. Yeah, we don't want something like this getting out of control. Now, the projectiles, obviously, for someone who's untrained or unfamiliar with, this is a 12 gauge?
That is correct.
Right? Okay. So it starts off as a 12 gauge slug. Does it have a sabot?
This one does not, actually.
Okay. I'm just curious because obviously you have it in deployed state.
Correct.
We can't, fire them off here in the room. So in essence, you've got a 12 gauge slug. Once it leaves the barrel, it opens up. You've got cavities here. Are there?
We make two options.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is the standard 5 projectile configuration. There's also a configuration that incorporates BBs.
Okay.
So buckshot, excuse me.
So you would have a shot in each cavity.
Yep.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. Very good. And you could probably even with smaller BBs like birdshot, you could probably, I don't know if you could.
Well,
I know I couldn't do it with 5 pieces, but you could probably put birdshot in there too.
We found with the smaller shot, it's just not effective on the drones of today.
Okay.
They're building them.
You need a larger projectile to actually strike that vehicle to bring it down.
Correct.
Now the 5, trying to think of the proper word for the 5 frangibles from this 12 gauge round or this 12 gauge projectile are connected by, is this just nylon?
It's a high strength tether.
High strength tether.
Yep.
That opens up into basically
it's about a 5-foot diameter.
Net. And actually, you have a photograph here. Well, here we go. It's going to spin. Great. I've just, my Aunt Minnie, she'd be freaking out if I had a hold of her knitting gear. Here I am just screwing it up. But this is a kind of an example of what it might open up into as it approaches an area vehicle. So, and is this available? Is the Skynet round available?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yep.
What's MSRP on that? Because obviously for departments and what have you, there's probably a variable price.
There are. I believe the MSRP on that is in the $14 to $15 range.
Okay, per round?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Available only to law enforcement?
Yes.
Okay, because you know there's a lot of guys that hate these, hate the UAVs.
There is another version. It is not built to the same specifications as this one, but it is a civilian version. It doesn't have nearly the range, doesn't have nearly the strength.
And that's what I was just going to get to. What is the effective range of this round?
Effective range on this is 300 feet.
300 feet for the law enforcement round?
Yep, that is the maximum effective range.
And what do you anticipate the effective range on the civilian?
I believe the civilian range is somewhere in the 60 to 65 yard range. So,
okay. So you said yard, not feet.
Yard, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's about half of
the law enforcement round. Okay, very good.